Hello again everyone, and welcome to this Facebook post number 5 dealing with numerology and my new book, You're Just a Number. Today's post is all about finding your life path number and how you do that, and we've got 4 beautiful souls here today joining me. Brenda from Pure Reflections Dundalk, Jennifer Maddy, Crystal Clear Dundalk, Michelle Stewart, whom you will remember, who was with us at a previous post when we talked about taking back your power, and Declan Quigley and Amnaska. And these 4 beautiful souls are going to be talking about how they have worked out their individual life plan and how their individual life plan number is working for them in this present lifetime. So to remind you first of all, how to work out your own individual life path number. You simply take your date of birth. Say, for example, you were born, just at random a date here, 23rd of the 9th, 1985. How do you get your path number from that? Dilute them all to single digits. So you've got 2 plus 3 plus 9 plus 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 5. Add them all up and you come to 37. Now you've got to reduce that to a single digit because we only talk about the numbers 1 to 9. You've got to reduce everything down to single digits. One single digit to get your path number. That's 37. 3 plus 7 equals 10. We're still not a single digit. We've got to go again. 1 plus 0 equals 1. So a person born on the 23rd of the 9th, 1985 comes in as a number 1. What does a number 1 mean? And here I've got the whole list. Wherever you come in here, you must come in on one of these. There's no other vibration for you to come in on. If you come in as a number 1, you come in as a leader. Leader is number 1, straight, at the front. Leader, number 1, no support, you're at the front. Number 2, look at the shape of the swan, the peacemaker, the feminine. The feminine joins the masculine to become number 3. Number 3 is the communicator. I told you before, number 3 is half the figure 8, which is the most important of them all. Number 4 is the builder. Straight lines, no curves, all straight lines here. Authority, control, discipline. Number 5 is the changer. Look, number 5 rolls around the bottom, not stable, doesn't want to be stable. Number 6, like a pregnant woman, is the nurturer, about to pop out with ideas. Number 7 is the seeker, getting knowledge and dragging it down to humanity. Number 8 is the powerhouse. This number 8 here, as I explained to you before, is the number. The most important one. It is the power one. It's the only number that does not have an opening. It's totally enclosed. The lemniscate, the infinity, everything flowing. And number 9, the last one, is the humanitarian. Now look, Tesla, as I explained in the previous post, it said if you understand number 3, number 6 and number 9, you've got the key of the universe. But I'm after saying 8 is the key. So what's the story here? Look at number 3. Is half in shape of the number 8. Number 6 is the bottom half of the number 8, and number 9 is the top half of the number 8. So number 3, 6 and 9 are contained in the number 8, as I explained before. So let's move on now, and we're going to start with Brenda. Brenda, you're coming in as a number 4, the builder, yeah?
Yes.
Your total of digits of your birth date came to 31, and that got us down to 3 plus 1 equals 4. So you're coming in to become a number 4. You joined this earth vibration on the vibration of a number 4 to grow into that number 4. Okay? And you share with Gates and Trump. And I explained last day how these two here could possibly be in the same number because they're both builders. Trump, yes, part of the building process is knocking down and clearing the site. Now, like every other number, 4 has got the positive and the negative. The positive, Brenda, for 4, as you know, is structuring your life, very structured. Organisation, very organised. Look at the 4. No curves, all straight lines, rigid, controlled. It's a solid foundation. Look, it's not going to topple over. It is attention to details, practical, dependable, discipline, hard work. And look at the 4 has got the triangle at its core. Very important, the 4. The negative side is resistant to change, inflexible, your way or the only way. Sorry, your way is the only way. Perfectionism, very big for the number 4. Projecting your standard onto others, that's the negative side. Now, Brenda, Do you recognise yourself in there, Brenda?
I do, yes.
Before you worked out a 4, was there any number you thought you might have been? Did you spot 4 immediately? That's me.
Well, yeah, when I glanced through them.
When you glanced through them, right. Okay, what was it about the number 4 then that made you so sure you were number 4? What got you into that?
Well, the structure and the organisation,
Yes.
I'd be like that.
You're very structured, very
yes,
organised,
yes.
very strong foundation, yes?
Yeah, and dependable. Practical, that all of that there
Right,
would be.
okay.
Yeah.
Now, have you experienced anything negative aspects of number 4? Because all have to experience negative and positive. You can't just simply have soul expansion by experiencing just the positive. The negative, you can spend your whole life on the negative side because the negative teaches us lessons about the positive. Any negative aspects here that you have experienced?
Perfectionism.
Right,
That
tell us about
would
that
have been
now.
a big one. I
Would have been?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, I've changed.
You've changed.
I'm coming round.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not as looking for perfect because you know it's unreal.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
In other words, you're less rigid. Right.
Yes.
Any other aspect of the negative inside there?
Inflexible.
You're more flexible now
Yes.
than you were. Yes. So,
Yes.
okay.
Coming out of that, and projecting my standards on others. I would have done that with my children when they were growing up.
As most
You
parents
know.
would do, really.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I suppose maybe that's
all part of the number 4. Yeah.
That would be.
You have to teach them. Yes.
But yeah.
But would you have been insistent that they follow you and do as you do? Is that what you're saying there?
No, just like guiding them through.
Guiding
them through. And resistant to change. I am more flexible now.
More flexible.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you definitely can see yourself in that number 4 there.
Absolutely.
Number 4.
That's me to a
The
T.
builder.
Yeah, Bob the builder.
Bob the builder.
Except it's Brenda.
Well, that's number 4. And as I've explained before, there are millions of you out there on a number 4 like Brenda. But no 2 of you are taking the same path. You're all learning the same lessons from the number 4, but you're all going different routes to learn those lessons. There are millions of you out there. For example, as I said, you couldn't get any more different than Bill Gates and Donald Trump. Thank you very much, Brenda.
Thank you, Eileen.
Let's move on now to our next beautiful soul. And this is Jennifer. Jennifer's coming in at a number 5. Jennifer, what was your total, please, when you added up your birth date?
I was 32.
32. And 3 plus 2 gives you a 5. So Jennifer's coming in on a 5, and I explained a 5 to you before in a previous post. A 5 can best be compared or can best be described as comparing it to a 4, where Brenda a minute ago was a 4, structure, organisation, detail. Look at Jennifer. Jennifer's 5. A 5 is not stable. A 5 is rolling around its bottom, totally unstable. A 5 does not like security, it doesn't like stability, it doesn't like to be in the one place at the one time, it rolls around and is totally unbalanced. A 5 is not the same as the 4. Now, for the positive side of the 5, thrives on change, and change is good. Movement, action, always got to be doing, got to be going, got to be doing something, action, rolling around. Resourceful, a free spirit, doesn't want to be tied down, doesn't want to be limited. A traveller, very adaptable, enjoys life. Oh yes, a 5 enjoys life. Enjoys new experiences. And don't try and limit a 5, otherwise you're going to be in trouble. Because a 5 will fight to get out of any cage or limitation you put it in. Now the negative, well, lack of discipline, totally undisciplined. Impulsive, prone to escapism, get me out of here. Easily bored, get me out of here. Freedom from responsibility. Again, look at the 5 and the 4. To a number 5, a number 4 would be very boring, go and get a life. To a number 4, a 5 would be totally unreliable, flippity-gibbet, giddy, not able to settle. Now, Jennifer, you come in as 5. You join this earth vibration on the vibration of 5. Where do you see yourself, or how do you see yourself? Or can you see yourself in the 5?
I can. I would thrive on change. I definitely change. I love change. I get bored very easily, so that's the negative aspect where I want to keep moving forward, and I enjoy going new places and meeting new people. So 5, change.
Is there any negative aspect you've come through and learned from on your soul mission, Jennifer?
Yes, I'd say the lack of discipline, easily bored. I would jump from one thing to another.
Impulsive?
So, impulsive.
And try to escape, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't really stick.
And what about the responsibility aspect? Are you bad on taking, are you getting better at taking on responsibility?
I would, because I've twins, I suppose I learned with the two children.
Double responsibility, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Now, Brenda before that was a 4. And I've explained, in a marriage, if a 5 is married to a 4, I don't see how that marriage can last very long. Because one is stable and structured and settled, the other wants to be out and about. So how, in the name of goodness, can you and Brenda stay friends and stay working together if you're a 5 and Brenda is a 4? How does that work? Can you explain that to us, please?
I think we complement each other. So the aspects that Brenda has complements the number 5. Brenda grounds me, brings me back down to earth.
Okay.
I could be a little bit flighty and working from the higher, so she's earthy and brings me down to the earth.
Okay. But in practical everyday things, how does this combination work?
What do you think?
Do you not feel
Brenda?
like killing each other at times? So there's no time you say,
No, we work well.
because you balance each other out.
Yeah, and we know what we're about. We know what we have to do. So
Okay.
I think we've come a long way together.
Yeah.
We've known each other for years.
Yes.
So we've been on this journey a long time.
Yeah.
And we know each other inside out.
Okay. And a number 2 is the balancer, and 4 is 2 plus 2. There's a 2 in you, and 3 is 2 plus 2. So there's a balancer in each of you, isn't there?
We're both like peacemakers.
Yeah.
Peacemakers.
So we'd have that in common, so we would. And I think with the number 4 and the number 5, they add to the number 9.
They add to the number 9.
So I
completion.
think
2 if you complete, make the,
And it changes the cycles. Number 9 is the completion.
Yeah,
So it's
you
a
go back
change
again to
of-
start 1 and 2
Yeah,
and
the
3.
cycles in our lives. We're not replaying and recycling the same
Right.
message.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you both. Now let's move on to our next beautiful soul. And now we have Declan Quigley. Declan, you're coming in as a number 8. What was your total, Declan, when you added up your birth date digits?
35.
And 3 plus 5 equals 8. So you're coming in as the number 8, which is the powerhouse, Declan. Right. For the positive side of the number 8, you're understanding the flow of abundance. The number 8 brings abundance and wealth and prosperity and power. That's what the number 8 is. So you come in to learn to understand the flow of abundance. Fearless, control, responsible, steadfast, decisive, strong, self-reliant, and for expansion and growth. And the negative side of that number 8, you could be overly materialistic at some stage in your life. You could turn towards gambling. It's all about learning to manage your wealth and your power and your money. And the negative side of that could be you could be a gambler, and you'd have to learn through that. Risk-taking, reckless with money, abuse of power, and working yourself exhaustion that you can't control. You're not able to manage that part of your life. You see yourself as an 8, Declan, do you?
In some respects, yeah. I think it's more to the negative aspect of
So
it.
you've come through a lot. You're learning through the negative aspect.
Yeah.
Your soul is expanding through learning through the negative aspect of number 8.
Yeah.
And number 8 is all about managing wealth and power and money, because wealth's not just always money, and how you deal with others, your power over others. So you'd like to explain that to us?
Well,
Declan,
I think
please.
there was a period of time when I was overly materialistic
Right.
and focused on money and focused on goals and that type of thing. But I think the universe took control of that, and I think a lot of those things fell by the
You
wayside.
learned the lesson from it, yes.
Huge lessons.
Did you learn the lesson that material possessions are not everything? That's
Yes.
not wealth. Is that what
Yes.
you learned? Yes, okay.
I think before I come into this spiritual viewpoint, I was very materialistic, very much looking at things cynically, and then discovered spiritual life, discovered shamanism, and that really is where the wealth there is. I think that's where the abundance is, and having discovered that now, things are starting to fall into place all the way through my life. and where I'm going, my path seems to be quite fairly.
And when
laid
you
out.
take your attention away from money, the money just flows to you
Yes.
in the abundance.
Yes.
That's the abundance. Because you realise that money is not wealth.
Yeah.
Money is just simply an energy, a form of exchange.
Yes, of
And
course.
so you're living in the flow of the abundance, yes.
And if you have that focus on money, or that natural drive towards money, it's a constant recalculation of things, and a constant stepping back and looking at your life and saying, well, what makes me feel good? What are my goals driving me towards? And how life can make me happy
And it's not
and
about money.
fulfilled. And it's not about
not
money.
about money.
No.
No.
It's about the soul, it's about love, it's about having emotional wealth in my life.
Emotional wealth, yeah. I too am a number 8, Declan. And as I've said before, there are millions of us number 8. And your life and mine couldn't be any more different. We have both come in to learn to manage wealth and money and power. Right? And your life is different in that you have a family to look after. So you've got to manage your money to provide for your family. Your responsibility's there. I don't have that responsibility. I don't have that demand on my money, or that pull on my money. So my responsibility, I have to learn the responsibility of managing my money for the better of humanity in my books, that kind of thing. How about the power you have, Declan? How far are you on your path of number 8 in the power you have in your life?
Well, what I discovered, Eileen, was that when focused on the material, when focused on the money, you are in various hierarchies. You know,
Right,
when
okay.
you're trying to attain that money. But on the path of shamanism, which they call the path of power, then you're very self-contained. You know,
Shamanism is the path of power, and you're in the path. Yes, very, yeah.
So yeah, you're very focused then on your own energy rather than where you fit into a hierarchy.
Okay.
You know, and you're looking at where you feel you should be, what your soul's telling you, what your influences are telling you at that particular time, and it's definitely a more powerful, self-contained path, more confidence, you know, more focus, more drive. In that respect.
Very good, yeah. And again, power. You have a lot of power over people as a shaman, and in the classes you teach, you know, you are empowering people rather than holding power over them.
Yes, absolutely.
And the same in my life. That's what I have come to learn as well. To give them the tools and let them go and use them.
That's
what it's
it.
about.
A lot of people, you know, when they're giving classes and tutorials and that
Abuse their
type of
power,
thing,
Declan. They abuse their power, a lot of them.
they
Yes.
do. You know, they want to be the powerful person, the most powerful person in the room. But it's not about that. It's about giving you some idea that you can build upon.
Giving you the tools and let you go and
Yeah.
use them as your own intuition tells you to use them.
Yeah.
Very. And anything else you can pick up there, Declan, that you want to tell us? Bearing your soul as you're doing.
Exhausted.
Well,
I
what about
feel
that?
I don't use, even now at this point, because I'm still growing and still moving towards that.
You're still
that
a young
goal
man,
of
so
the
you're
age.
nowhere near, because of your age, you're nowhere near finished on
No.
your... I'm further along my path of it than you've been, simply because I've been around longer than you've been.
Yeah.
I've more years to... I've clocked up more years. So I'd be further along my path of it than you would be along yours.
Yeah, but again, it's about the difficulty. I guess one of the big difficulties is to manage that power and that energy properly throughout this. So
Because
I
energy is
do
power.
end up tired most of the time. You know, time management, all that type of thing. That's something I'm moving towards.
You're still learning, you're still
Yes.
in the negative
Yeah.
aspect of that, to learn
Yes.
to manage your time and your energy,
Yeah.
so that you're not exhausted. That's a big part of the number 8, yeah. Anything else, Declan? Is that you finished with confessions?
Definitely expansion and growth and self-reliant.
Self-reliant.
Becoming more self-reliant, more responsible, allowing myself to be a wee bit more fearless.
Managing
And
your
taking
power,
chances.
yes,
Yeah.
taking back your power.
Yeah, because you do need to have that aspect in it. You do need to move forward
Yeah.
fearlessly.
On your own power, on your own steam, yes.
Yeah, and have that confidence in what you're being told and where you're at and what your gut is telling you.
So, are you happy being an 8, Declan?
I think I am. Yeah, I can see
You can
see
see
the
yourself
path
in that,
forward.
yes, yeah.
Anyway, you know, absolutely. You know, not at the end of the path yet,
Because you're too
still
young.
working
You're too
on.
young. It's a life path. You're
Yeah.
too young, Declan.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I'm very happy with that. You know, it's
And you know that you may well experience more of these negative things.
yeah, yeah.
But they're all paths to improvement.
Well,
and they're
again,
all lessons.
with shamanism, you know, when you're working with spirits and when you're working with the influences from the other side, they are constantly rebalancing you and moving you forward and knocking you back and moving you forward and knocking you back, just to get you into the right frame of energy, you know. So yeah, I think that's one of the things that I've noticed, that it's a constant recalculation and a constant daily negotiation with all these negative aspects to get to the more positive aspects.
And do you feel that you are flowing in the abundance of the universe in the figure eight?
I am. There was a time I wasn't.
Yes.
The time I was stalling and nothing made sense, and it was all about the money.
And you've come out of that negativity and you're in this
Yeah.
flow now.
So-
and because you're in the flow of the abundance comes to you. You don't have to try anymore. The abundance comes to you naturally.
Absolutely. When you're any kind of a spiritual practitioner, you have to flow within
With the
that
abundance,
energy. You have to
with
be
the
in that
energy.
alignment with spirit, or you're going nowhere. You know.
Doesn't work otherwise.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Declan, thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
And
Anna.
now let's move on again to our next beautiful soul. And now we have our final beautiful soul here, Michelle. Michelle, you might recognise, was with us previously in a previous Facebook post when we talked about taking back your power. This is the same Michelle. You're very welcome, and thank you for joining us again, Michelle. Lovely to see you again. Now let's see what Michelle's number is. Michelle, what was your total of your numbers?
38.
38. And 3 and 8 is 11, so Michelle comes in at number 11. A master number, first of the master numbers, the base master number, which signifies new beginnings and independence. But 11 is also a mixture of 1 plus 1 is 2, and 2 is divine partnership. The 11, the master number, brings deep inner knowing, spiritual wisdom and knowledge, truth and transparency, positivity in bringing about change, inspirational, driven nature to be in the change that you want to see in the world, and a spiritual change maker. And we saw a lot of that from you in the last post when you were here with us. And the negative side of the number 11, because every number has a negative side, you've got to go through the negative as well as the positive. Competitive, critical, judgmental, defensive, inward self-doubt and insecurity, and can be impractical at times. Now, Michelle, do you recognise yourself in the number 11?
I do, but I think I'm a number 1.
Well, you see, you are number 1 because you're 1 and 1, yes?
I think in my young part of my life, I've been living in the number 1.
Can you explain that, yes?
With number 1,
is the leader out in front?
You're on your own, you stand alone.
Standing alone, no
it
support.
It can be isolating. And I seen the early part of my journey, I was very much a number 1. And I was a leader, but I took on too much and I led everybody thinking that it was my job to lead, to fix and all that there. But my journey has changed and I now see myself as a number 11. And
a base balanced number. Can you explain that, Michelle? Well, I know the negative here, I know you're not judgmental, but was there a time in your life when maybe you did experience a time when you were judging people and full of judgment? Was that a negative aspect you maybe have learned from?
No. Really.
That's okay.
No.
You're honest about it.
I'm honest. No, I don't see myself as judgmental.
You never were, right.
And maybe too much to my detriment, if you know what I mean. Because, I find a lot of people, people pleasing. The people. Well, I was very much the opposite. Horrified people around me because I didn't care what other people thought.
That was your independence, number 1.
And I don't judge other people either. Everybody is what they are, so no, I don't see myself as that.
Well, what about a stage when you were inward self-doubt, and have you come through that negative aspect to where you are now?
Marlene, you're not going to like this, but I don't see myself there either, right?
That's fine.
And
It just means that you haven't
you
been
can
through the
see
negative
that
aspects.
maybe
Yeah, that's
as
fine.
ego, right?
Yes.
And people would say, God, she's got a big ego, right? You know, but I have to be honest, and I always had self-belief. I always thought and knew that there was something within me that I'm
number
here
one, the positive side of the number one in you, yes.
here for a reason, and I really always did have self-belief, and I still do.
Yeah.
And I see, well, maybe I've turned my negative to a positive, I don't know.
You may be probably, and you're very inspirational and positivity in bringing about change, and a driven nature to being the change you want to see in the world. That's you.
The spiritual end of me, which is a number 11, no?
Yes.
Yes, I see myself very, at the minute, spirituality is something that I have learnt, and I've learnt this on my path. So as a number one, I see all them characteristics are still there, but that's in my past. I've grown. I see myself as grown. Spirituality, well, spirit means a sequence of behaviours, right? And what I learned to do was change my sequence of behaviours because they weren't working. So if you change your behaviour, everything changes around you.
Spiritual change maker, yes.
Yes, and as you talk about spirituality, people don't really understand what that word means. To me, this is what it means. And by me changing my behaviour and my defects of character, it builds your character whenever you learn from your mistakes. When a child falls, when it first starts to walk, do I hit it? No. You pick it up, you dust it down and you say, let's go. And that's how I feel about myself. And within spirituality, you know, as Declan said there, he has found his spirituality and the growth in his. I found that I was spiritually, I was like an adolescent spiritually. I needed spiritual security before I could grow. And I find that I found that. And by finding that, I'm able to grow, empower myself, and to, you know, enjoy life. And I think that's where I came from, number 1 to 11. And that is growth, and that's what we're here for, you know.
So you find yourself and you see yourself definitely as a number 11. You can identify and you can equate with that.
Definitely.
What about your children, Michelle? You made a very sensible point before we started here about the numbers that your children have come in under.
Well, whenever, before I come on, of course, I've done my homework, and because Eileen told me to. And I was amazed at what came up through my whole life. 2 and 8, 28 seemed to be a number that run through our family. My children and my husband and myself, we were all born on the 28th or due to be born on the 28th,
okay.
Which I find amazing. We always talk about it, but I never really registered 28. 2 and 8 is 10. Divide that up and you're back to 1.
2, 28, 2 plus 8, 10, 1 and 0, back to 1, you're back to 1.
Back to 1. So last night I was doing my homework again and I thought, I'll do my children's birth dates and I'll work all that out. So I have 3 children and I had 2 5s and a 6 and we're back to 11. Divide it up, we're back to 1. So there's definitely something in the numbers, in this numerology. There's something working in the universe that has brought us to this place. And it's a good journey. It's a good journey. And
what is your husband, Michelle? What number is he?
He's an 8.
Why are you laughing?
Well, he's an 8 and I'm an 11.
Yes, an 8 is a mixture of 4 plus 4. The builder. Is your husband
yes,
structured?
Very much.
Does he keep you on the ground?
Well, he tries to.
Does he keep you stable?
Tries to, yes.
Well, you're stable as well because you're the 11, you're the number. But your husband is 4 plus 4.
Yes, and he is all those things. He is very
organised.
Very organised, very structured.
Attention to detail.
Oh, very much so. Sure, he married me.
Well, that's another story. So you just don't see 11 in yourself. You see all your children's birth numbers
I can't
as being
believe
relevant to them
how
and your husband.
All the numbers marry into each other. So I'm in the right place. The universe has put me where I am supposed to be. And as you talk there about the number 2, which I also am as well, I see myself as a number 2, which is a peacemaker. And
the feminine part of the masculine, the one, the partner.
Yep, and I'm all those things. And you know, and as a mother, you're you know, in your family, it's up to the mother to hold that all together. You often find in families when the mother dies, the whole family falls apart. The mother is the key within a family to hold it together, and the peacemaker, and to hold all them children together.
The mother is the heart of the home, yes.
It is.
No doubt about
So
it,
that's number 2 to me.
It's number 2. And you're happy in your skin being 11, Michelle?
Oh, I'm very happy, yes, very happy. And coming near, you know, there is negatives. Now, I can't say I'm, you know, but I'm one of those people, my glass is always half full, not half empty. And sure,
I thought your glass would be overflowing, Michelle.
at the minute, you're number 11. I've got 2 ones. What more could I ask for?
What could you ask for? Base, balanced number. Well done. Thank you very much, Michelle. Pleasure to have you with us again. Well, I hope you enjoyed all that, everybody. And please join me again in a few days for my final Facebook post on numerology, number 6 that will be. So I'll see you in a few days. Thank you for watching, and namaste.